Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. I'm Kimberlyn Abalos, one of the reporters of Module 6, The Diversity of the Plants. Overview. This module will take you to a wonderful world of plants. It aims to familiarize you with the different groups that comprise the plant kingdoms and with how plants are classified. Plants make up one of the dominant organisms on Earth. Since plants are found almost everywhere in a tropical country like the Philippines, we are familiar with many of its species. Objectives. After going through this module, you are expected to first, discuss the importance of classifying plants. Second, describe how plants are classified. Third, compare non-vascular from vascular plants. Fourth, explain how the different group of plants differ from each other. And the last, describe some representative plants from the different groups. Ngayon naman po ay dadako na tayo sa ating discussion. In this module, malalaman natin kung saan ba nabibilang ang ating mga halaman. Let's start. Have you ever experienced walking in the park or a garden where different plants are found? In science, the grouping or ordering of living things is called classification. Sa science po, ang pagpapangkat o pagsama-sama ng mga living organism ay tinatawag po itong classification. Classification is a lifetime skill that you will practice every day in our life. Ang classification po ay kasama na natin to sa ating pang-araw-araw na buhay. Ang halimbawa po nito ay kapag nag-aayos tayo ng mga tinupi nating damit, kailangan nating pagpatong-patungin o pagpatas-patasin sa ating lalagyan ng damit para hindi siya magulo. At saka, ay pag kayo'y nagpapatas ng mga libro sa inyong bookshelf, kailangan malaki muna bago paliit or kung gusto nyo maliit to palaki para hindi siya gulo-gulo sa inyong bookshelf at organize siya para pag hinanap mo yung librong iyon ay mahanap mo agad-agad. The system of classification we use today was developed by Swedish. Ang system of classification na ginagamit natin ngayon ay dinevelop ng isang Swedish na si Carlos Linnaeus. Carlos Linnaeus, a Swedish botanist and English naturalist who pioneered the science of classification or taxonomy. His classification was mainly based on similarity of structure. Si Carlos Linnaeus ay isang Swedish botanist at siya ang nagtatag ng makabagong scheme of nomenclature. And he is also considered one of the fathers of modern ecology. A structure is a feature just like a type of leaf, type of venation, type of fruit, and etc. Presently, we have approximately 550,000 different species of plants at ang iba pa po sa kanila ay still being discovered pa. Lagi po natin tatandaan ang tatlong ito. That classification helps you. First, organize things. Second, store things. And the last, third, I find things fast. Sunod naman po ay dadako na tayo sa levels of classification. We have 7 major biological groupings, but before that, let's watch this video.
Classification of living things. What do a worm, a cat, a fish, a bear, a lion, a tiger, a deer, and a tree have in common? They are all living things. With so many living things in the world, Scientists have created a way to organize life into groups and give them names that are recognized worldwide. So if you ever find yourself in China at a zoo looking to see the lions, and there's nobody there speaking your language, what are you supposed to do to ask to see the lions? Scientific classification's grouping of organisms can help you determine a lion's scientific name. From general to specific, the levels of classification are kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. A lion belongs to the kingdom Animalia, a group that includes all animals. So in our group of organisms, the tree would not fit into this grouping. The phylum that the lion fits into is called Chordate. This is a group that includes everything with a backbone. The worm would be eliminated from our group because of its lack of a backbone. Class is the name of the next level of classification. The class that the lion belongs to is called Mammalia. Scientists use Greek or Latin words for the levels because they are understood everywhere. Mammalia means mammal, or animals with hair or fur. The fish is removed from our group because it's not a mammal. Order is the name of the next level, and the order a lion belongs to is called Carnivora, which means meat-eating. The deer is not a member of this order, and he is removed. Next, we have family. A lion is in the Felidae family. Members of this family have retractable claws, so the bear is removed. Then we have a level called genus. A lion is in the genus Panthera, which means roaring cat. The house cat does not roar, so it is removed. Finally, we have the level called species. Members of the same species can breed and produce offspring. A lion is in the species Leo. So the tiger is removed from this group. So a lion is an animal with a backbone that has hair or fur, eats meat, has retractable claws, can roar, and goes by the name Leo. The lion's scientific name is Panthera leo. Scientific names are an organism's genus followed by its species. So a lion is Panthera leo. So if you ever find yourself looking for lions at a zoo in China and nobody there is speaking your language, all you need to do is ask to see the Panthera leo, and you will be sure to see the lions. Classification of living things.
The kingdom is the largest group in the system of classification. This is divided into phyla in the animal kingdom. However, in plant is equivalent to the division. Each division is divided into classes. These classes are divided into orders, and orders into families, then family into genera, and so on down to the smallest unit, which is the species. Next naman po, si Carlos Linnaeus po ay nag-set up po ng two kingdom system, which is the plant kingdom and also the animal kingdoms. Ngayon po, ang pinagbabasehan po nating kingdoms ay 6. Pero sa ibang libro po, ang pinagbabasehan po nilang kingdoms ay 8. Pero ang nakalagay po sa module na ito ay 6 kingdoms po. Kaya yun lang po ang ituturo namin sa inyo. The 6 kingdoms are the first, Kingdom of Animalia, second, Kingdom of Plantae, third, Kingdom of Protista, fourth, Kingdom of Fungi, 5, Kingdom of Eubacteria, and the Kingdom of Archaebacteria. First, Kingdom of Animalia or Kingdom of Animal. Animals are the multicellular, heterotrophic, use their living organism from food. Organism without cell walls in their cells. Ang Kingdom of Animalia po ay ito po yung pinakamalaki sa 6 na kingdom. Ang halimbawa po ng mga ito ay yung mga mabangis na hayop po tulad ng tigre. Sunod naman po ay dadako tayo sa pangalawang kingdom. Kingdom of Plant or Plantae. Plants on the other hand are the multicellular, photosynthetic organism with cell wall and their cell membrane. Ito naman daw po yung mga halaman na may cell wall tulad po ng mga ferns, liverwort, hornwort, and cone-bearing plant. Sunod naman po ay dadako tayo sa kingdom of protists. Protists are the organism that exhibit both plant and animals characteristic. Ito naman daw po ay ang pagkakapareho or pagkakatulan ng halaman at ng mga hayop sa kanilang mga katangian. Ang halimbawa po ng mga ito ay ito. Examples of protista: fungi, diatoms, amoeba, plasmodium, paramecium. Sunod naman po ay dadako tayo sa ika-4 na kingdom. Kingdom of Eubacteria is also called true bacteria. It is prokaryotic, which means does not have nucleus, and they are cellular, which means single cells. Meron po tayong 3 hugis ng Eubacteria. Una po ay ang Cocci, pangalawa po ay Spirilla, ang pangatlo po ay Bacilla. Sunod naman po ay ang ika-5 kingdom. Ito po ay ang kingdom of Archaebacteria. Are the oldest organism living on earth. Are found in a very harsh condition such as in the volcanic vents or at the bottom of the sea. Ito po ay pinakamatagal o pinakamatanda ng organismo na nabubuhay sa ating mundo. Sunod naman po ang ikahuling kingdom ay ang kingdom of fungi. Plant-like organism without chloroplast. Ang halimbawa po nito ay ang puffballs, yeast, mushroom, molds, and the ringworms. Susunod naman tayo sa 2 system of classification, which is the natural system and the artificial system. First, the artificial system of classification. Artificial system of classification used in plants is based on size, water, requirements, ability to manufacture food, habitat, habit, and lifespan. In other words, classification under this system is based on similarities. Ang artificial system of classification po ay ginagamit po ito sa mga halaman upang malaman ang kanilang size, water requirements, at ang ability ng isang halaman kung paano sila gumawa ng kanilang pagkain. Natural system of classification is based on the structural and evolutionary relationship among the organism. Ang susunod po natin tatalakayin ay makakapagbigay sa inyo ng karagdagang detalye upang malamang ang iba't ibang pag-uuri sa isang halaman. Based po ito sa artificial system of classifying the plants. First, size. Plants may be microscopic or macroscopic. Microscopic plants are those that are not visible to the naked eyes, while the macroscopic plant are those that can be seen with the naked eyes. Ang macroscopic plant po ay ito po yung kadalasan nating makikita sa ating kapaligiran. Halimbawa po nito ay ang orchids, rose, sampagita, at ang santan or Santa Ana. Second po ay ang water requirements. Xerophytes live in a place with a little amount of water as in desert. Ang xerophytes po, ito na po yung mga halaman na nananirahan sa desert at hindi kailangan diligan ang mga ito. Ang halimbawa po nito ay cactus, acacia, at ang makahiya. Next naman po ay ang mesophytes. Mesophytes requires a moderate amount of water supply as those found in your garden. Ang mesophyte daw po, ito po ang mga halaman na ating makikita sa ating bakuran at kailangan po itong diligin araw-araw. Ang halimbawa po ng mga ito ay santan or Santa Ana, rose, at sampagita po. Next, hydrophytes. those that live in habitats of abundant water supply. Ang halimbawa naman po ng hydrophyte, yung mga halamang nasa ilog katulad po ng quiapo, water hyacinth, at ang digman. Ay dadako na tayo sa number 3, ability to manufacture food. First, autotrophic, those that manufacture their own food through photosynthesis. Ito naman po ang mga halaman na may kakayahang gumawa ng kanilang makakain through photosynthesis. Ang halimbawa po nito ay yung lahat ng green plants na nasa ating paligid. Next naman po ay ang heterotrophic, those that depend on other organism or dead organic matter for food. Ang halimbawa po ng halamang ito ay all the carnivorous plants. Next po, ang ika-4, ang habitat, environmental location of the plant. First, aquatic plants, those that live in water. Ito naman po yung mga halaman na naninirahan sa ating mga ilog, karagatan, sa mga lake po. Ang halimbawa po nito ay lotus, water hyacinth, and also the water lily. Next, terrestrial, those that live on land. Most of the plants we have in our garden are terrestrial in habitat. Next, ang aerial, those that live above the ground on other plants or are attached to other object for support. Ang aerial plants naman po, ito po ay mga halaman na itinatanim or dinidikit natin dun sa mga puno. Ang halimbawa po ng aerial na halaman ay yung mga orchids, bird nest, and pocket ferns. Next, ang pang-5, lifespan or duration of life. First, annuals, live for one growing season or within a year. Ang annuals po, ito po ay ang mga halaman na batay sa kanilang panahon. Ang halimbawa po ng mga ito ay garlic, onion, at ang patola po. Next naman ay ang biennials, those that complete their life cycle in 2 years. Ang halimbawa po ng mga ito ay ang carrots, papaya, at ang potato. Next po ay ang perennials, those that live for many years. Most of the trees that we see around the perennial. Ito naman po ay mga halaman na mabubuhay almost a year. Ang halimbawa po nito ay ang mga luya, basil, at ang oregano. Tsaka yung mga nara, acacia, mahogany. Next, 6, habit, refers to body appearance. Next, trees, tall, woody, perennial plants with a single stem or trunk. Ang halimbawa po naman ng trees ay alam naman na po natin na ang nara, mahogany, santol, at marami pa pong iba. Next, shrubs, short, woody perennial plants with several main stems arising at or near the ground. Ang halimbawa po naman ng shrubs ay ang gumamela, santan or Santa Ana, at ang rose po. Next, herbs with soft stem. Ang herbs naman po, ito po yung mga halamang gamot, halimbawa po ng oregano, sabila, at mayana. Next, vines, climbing plants. Ito naman po yung mga halamang nagapang tulad ng squash, patola, at ang beans. An example of a natural system of classification is the classification of plants into vascular and non-vascular. Non-vascular are those plants without the vascular tissues or tissues where water, minerals, and food pass through, such as the xylem and the phloem.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, classmates. This is the continuation of our report. The non-vascular plants are birophytes. Have you ever slept on what you thought was smooth, solid ground? You looked around and saw that ground was covered with something like green carpet. Do you know what that was? It is what we called the birophytes, or lumot in Tagalog. They differ as to structure. You see them in many places, especially in wet and moist places. They grow from spores, which are tiny seed-like bodies from which new mosses can grow. Spores are equivalent to seeds in the higher forms of plants. So si spores ay isang tiny seed that can create or produce or grow new mosses. It is a higher form of plants. The birophytes, as they are commonly called, are composed of the mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. They are considered as the first land plants. They do not have the vascular tissues or tubes that will facilitate transport of substances. This is the reason why they are called non-vascular plants. So, mosses, liverworts, and hornworts are birophytes that we can see in many places, especially in wet and moist places. Kina-consider din silang the first land plants. Kaya tinawag itong non-vascular plants is because they don't have vascular tissues or tubes na magpapacilitate to transport nutrients. This is the three kinds of birophytes, the mosses, the hornwort, and the liverwort. Amphibian or amphibious refers to any organism that can live on land and in water. Just like the frogs and toads, birophytes need water to complete their life cycle. Amphibians or amphibious is they can live both on land, and in water. And they are the same of birophytes kasi hindi mabubuo yung life cycle nila kung walang water or tubig. Liverwort. The term liverwort can be divided into two words. Liver, which means that the plant is liver-shaped, and wort, which simply means plant or herb. So, si liverwort is divided into two words, which is liver and wort. Liver, because it is liver-shaped, and wort, because it is plant or herb. Gametophytes or gametophytes are haploid plants that will produce the sex cells. So, si gametophytes pala ay isang plant na nakakapag-produce ng sex cells because it has two types. Meron siyang female plant at male plant. Two types of gametophyte plants. Female contains the archaeogonium, the female reproductive organ. Male contains the antheridium, the male reproductive organ. Hornwort. The plants receive their common names from the resemblance of the spirophyte or the spore-bearing plant to small cattle's horns. The hornworts are the smallest in size and in number compared to the liverworts and mosses. There are only about 100 species of hornworts distributed around the world. So, si hornwort pala is may pagkakahawig na sa spirophyte or spore-bearing. Tapos, si hornwort is a smallest size plant and in number kumpara sa liverworts and hornworts. Tapos, meron siyang 100 species of hornworts distributed around the world. Kaya siguro siya tinawag na hornwort kasi yung mga suloy ng plant na yon is para siyang sungay. Mosses. The two kinds of plants, sporophyte plant and gametophyte plant. The sporophyte plant is attached to the gametophyte and is different. It has stalk and capsule. The capsule is visible from the outside, with numerous spores or reproductive bodies inside the capsule. Gametophyte plant produces the reproductive cells or egg and the sperm cell. So, si sporophyte plant is naka-attach or kasama ng gametophyte pero kakaiba siya. Meron siyang stalk and capsule. Tapos, yung capsule is visible from outside na merong numerous spores. Tapos, nandun yung mga reproductive bodies inside the capsule. Well, kagaya nga sinabi ko kanina, yung gametophyte plant is nakakapag-produce ng reproductive cells, the egg cells, and the sperm cell because it have female plant and male plant. It is the life cycle of a mosses.
Next naman ay 6.3 vascular land plants, ferns, and their relatives. Like the birophytes that we have discussed in the last lesson, ferns are also the land plants. Ang ferns po ay umaabot hanggang 12,000 living species dito sa ating bansa at ito ang pinakamalaki at ang pinaka-kauna-unang halaman or seedless ng vascular plants dito sa ating bansa. Ang ferns ay may tatlong uri. Ito ay ang Caitea, fern with fiddlehead, and fern with sorry. Noong Carboniferous forest po ay nagko-contain po ito ng maraming species tulad ng mosses, spike mosses, horsetails, and also the ferns. And this age is refers to as the age of the ferns. Next, whisk fern. There are only 2 surviving genera in this group of plants, Xylotum and Themsipteris. Next, club mosses. The second group of fern relatives in the illustration are the club mosses. Ang club mosses po ay umaabot hanggang 1,000 species. Kung ikaw po ay nakatira sa mga provinces, ay kilala mo ito at madalas po itong makikita or kalimitang makikita po sa tabi ng mga kalsada. Naman po ay ang horsetails. Horsetails, there are used to be the 15 species of the horsetails, pero ngayon po ay may isang existing genus which is the Squisitum. Sometimes po, ang horsetail ay tinatawag na scoring rush at kahawig po ito ng kawayan pero maliit lang po ito na kahawig na kawayan pero ang ilan po sa atin ay tinatawag po itong kawa-kawayan plants. Species of ferns trees found today in tropical areas may reach 3 to 5 meters in height, but anciently, the trees ferns grow as a 25 meters high lang.
Bearing plants. Pine trees are only one of the examples under this group of plants. Cone-bearing plants are grouped under division Gymnospermia. The name came from the Greek word gymnos, meaning naked, and spermacid, thus naked seed. So, si pine trees is isa sa pinakakilala ngayon kasi magki-Christmas season na. Siya yung ginagawang pinaka-Christmas tree ng mga ibang lugar para madekorasyonan ng mga Christmas light, ng mga Christmas balls. At siya lang yung nag-iisang example under ng vascular plants or core-bearing plants. Because para siyang cone na parang apa ng ice cream na pwedeng dekorasyonan nga ng mga Christmas light, Cone-bearing plants have well-developed stems, leaves, and roots as well as vascular tissues. They grow very well in temperate regions. So, si core-bearing plants pala ay mayroong stems, leaves, and roots kumpara doon sa virophytes na yung mga liverworts, hornworts, at mosses. Nasa lupa lang sila. Puro dahon lang sila. Then, ito palang si core-bearing plants ay lumalaki lang in temperature region. Gymnosperms consist of only around 550 different species, but they have ranked high among the economically important plants. The oldest living tree today is Gymnosperm. It is found in eastern California and is more or less 4,997 years old. So, sa Gymnosperms pala ay may 550 different species and idarang ito through economically important of the plants and it is the oldest living tree dito sa ating mundo. Tapos makikita ito sa Eastern California at napakatanda na pala nitong Gymnosperms na to Meron siyang 4,997 years old na yung gymnosperm. 4 groups of core-bearing plants. Ginkgos. Originally, ginkgos have 16 species, but now there is only one surviving species. Ginkgo biloba or maidenhair, as it is popularly called. This is a large tree with numerous spreading branches. Leaves are fan-shaped with parallel type of leaf venation. The female plant forms seeds that give off a pungent odor similar to rancid butter. This plant is abundant in China and Japan. So, si ginkgos pala ay meron 16 species pero iisa lang yung nakasurvive doon na plants. Tapos, commonly known siya as ginkgo biloba or maidenhair. And yung leaf niya is fan-shaped para siyang isang pamaypay. Netums are believed to be the ancestors of the flowering plants. They have cones that resemble flowers. They are usually smaller compared to ginkgos that form large trees. Their leaves are with parallel venation similar to the compound level leaves of cycad or pitogo plant. So, si netums pala ay isa ancestors na ng mga flowering plants at ito ay kakaiba kaysa sa ginkgos kasi yung ginkgos lumalaki siya large trees while this netums maliliit lang siya compare lang sa ginkgos. Then, yung leaves niya is parallel venation, similar compound leaves of cycad or pitogo plant. Similar yung leaves ng netums kasi yung cycad is para siyang palm tree na yung dahon niya mahahaba, then may maliliit. Yung palang stem niya, yung pinaka-stem ng pinagdidikitan ng dahon, mahaba. Tapos yung mga dahon-dahon para siyang dahon ng palm tree. Cycads. These are cone-bearing palm-like trees with thick stems. The leaves are large and compound or composed of several small leaf-like parts. These are the plants that are usually used during Palm Sunday together with the young leaves of coconut trees. Female plants are distinct from the male plants. Male and female cones look different and may be found in 2 separate plants. So, si cycads ay meron siyang mahabang or makapal na stem, then compound or composed of several small leaf, yung maliliit lang. Tapos, yung itong cycads is ginagamit siya during Palm Sunday kasama yung mga mas batang dahon ng coconut trees. Meron siyang female and male reproductive. Ang female plants are distinct from the male plants, so magkaiba sila. Si male and female cones look different and may be found in 2 separate plants. Yon, magkaiba daw yung male and female na cone, magkaiba yung itsura nila. Kasi yung female, kita naman natin, is mas malaki kaysa sa male plant. Pine group. This represents the biggest group of gymnosperms found in many parts of the world. Just like all the other plants we discussed, they all bear cones. Here in our country, the most common ones are the pine trees. So, si pine group pala ay isa sa biggest group ng gymnosperms na makikita sa iba't ibang mundo, sa iba't ibang lugar. So, ang gymnosperm nga pala is from the Greek word gymnos, naked, and sperms, naked seed. So, visible sila, makikita natin sila sa labas. Tapos, dito sa ating bansa, dito sa Pilipinas, is most common one is ang mga pine trees. The pine trees have 2 species, the Pinus insularis and Pinus mercosi. The Pinus insularis is yan po, yung dahon niya, yung stem niya is pataas. Tapos yung pinakadahon niya medyo light green or green na buhay. while the Pinus mercusi is, yung stem naman niya is taob, para siyang lanta. Then, yung dahon niya is, so parang makapal na medyo dark green. Remember, cone-bearing plants are vascular plants.
Next topic, 6.5, the flowering plants. When you bite into a chico or guava, you are eating part of an angiosperms. Angiosperms or flowering plants are vascular plants with seeds usually found inside the fruit, tulad ng chico at ang guavas po. Meron po tayong 250,000 different species of the flowering plants dito sa ating kapaligiran. There are two kinds of flowering plants. First, the monocot, and second, the dicot. Ang monocot or the monocotyledon ay have one side left inside their seed. Ang halimbawa po ng monocot ay ang gumamela. Tapos, ang dicot or the dicotyledon, ito naman po ay may two seedlets. Ang halimbawa po ng dicot ay ang mga orchids. Dito na po nagtatapos ang aming report. Sana'y marami po kayo natutunan. Muli, maraming salamat po.